Is it true that the hatred that creeps up to attack Jimin's family will be the biggest trigger for destruction for the haters, or actually cause unexpected consequences for the BTS brotherhood? Don't forget to immediately press the like button. Write your opinion in the comments field, and click subscribe so you don't miss the latest updates from us. That day, the atmosphere of the virtual universe suddenly heated up like a gun barrel ready to be fired. Instantly, the hashtag ARMY GROWLS soared to become a trending topic on various social media platforms. Not just a mere demonstration of solidarity, the hashtag sparked tremendous anger among BTS's loyal fans when news spread that haters apparently attacked Jimin's family with vile words and insults that were inappropriate for anyone, let alone the family of an idol. This hubbub is not just an ordinary frenzy, but a huge wave that demands accountability for the perpetrators, even far beyond the limits of cyberspace social norms. In the heated situation, there was also a surprising reply from Jungkook, known as the Golden Magne, with a reputation for professionalism and high respect for all parties. What exactly happened that made the ARMY so angry? Who was involved in this attack? And, most importantly, how did Jungkook deliver a response that dramatically changed the course of the story? Follow the exposure below to explore every detail that shakes your heart and mind. Behind the excitement of the concert stage, the screens of devices that usually emit colorful spoiled lights suddenly turned into a battlefield of words. On the night of June 5, 2025, one of the largest online discussion forums in Southeast Asia, whose users are mostly young K-pop lovers, was shocked by the upload of someone unknown before. The anonymous account posted comments with verbal violence, accusing Park Jimin's family of inappropriate actions when he was a child, complete with uncivilized insults that express unreasonable resentment. The post included false details that were allegedly fabricated solely to incite hatred and scratch the reputation of Jimin's family, which has always tried to maintain privacy and family harmony. The slur was later reshared by dozens of accounts that deliberately sought out controversial content. Haters who set the hate machine in motion with the sophistication of manipulative narratives. It didn't take long for the real ARMY to find out the news. Cybercriminals who love BTS, especially Park Jimin, who is known for his soft voice, stunning dancing, and warm personality, were immediately shocked and irritated. Many were offended that it was not only idols who were attacked, but their families, figures who had always stood behind the scenes, never interfering in public life. It is as if the guts of the haters grow bigger when they feel there will be no accountability for their actions. In fact, according to the online communication code that applies unwritten among netizens, attacking an idol's family is a real taboo, which even fellow soldiers who sometimes have small feuds agree not to cross the line. The first reactions came from the Twitter platform, where the hashtag #StopHateOnJiminFamily appeared instantly. Within hours, thousands of protest tweets with screenshots of the malicious comments filled the timeline. Meanwhile, in the comments section of the haters' post, ARMY appeared to label the perpetrators as virtual monsters who were willing to destroy other people's lives for the sake of a pinch of sensation. On the other hand, many public figures, especially YouTubers and internet celebrities, began to comment, calling for netizens to exercise restraint and be aware of the moral consequences of digital hate. There are also those who connect this incident with the phenomenon of toxic fandom, where some netizens indiscriminately launch blasphemies into the realm of idol families, in the interest of satisfying anger or just looking for a moment's reflection. However, in the midst of that frenzy of opinion contestation, a startling statement suddenly emerged from Jungkook. Through a short video lasting less than a minute, he appeared with a serious face, without the sweet smile that had been attached to his image. Stepping back a few steps from the crowd, he looked at the camera as if calling out to every heart that was watching. Then, in a firm voice, he uttered a sentence that made every second feel heavy. To all the haters who feel the need to vent hatred on Jimin's family, remember one thing: we are brothers, not enemies. Every word you throw can destroy not only one soul, but also a family. I know haters often forget that behind the stage and the spotlight, there are humans who have feelings. So, stop the hate and reflect on yourself before accusing and berating. If you have a complaint, speak to me directly, using common sense, not blind hatred. The statement immediately sparked a new uproar. Some haters, who initially felt that they were immune to criticism, suddenly felt cornered. Jungkook's video on BTS's official YouTube channel was viewed more than 10 million times in a day, breaking the record for the fastest airtime for a non-music video ever released by a BTS member. In just a matter of hours, the clip became the subject of heated discussion in various forums, chat groups, news article comments, and TikTok uploads. Not only the ARMY responded with cheers appreciating Jungkook's bravery, but also the public who had been curious about the human side behind the fame of idols. Many praised the mature attitude of the golden magne, who does not use abusive language or threats at all, but wisely mediates situations of verbal firefight in cyberspace. In this article, we will explore in depth the entire series of events. From how the attack began, the panic that engulfed Jimin's family, ARMY's uncontrollable reaction, to the series of dialogues and follow-ups provided by HYB Entertainment. Furthermore, we will explore the context of the toxic fandom phenomenon that triggered this kind of attack, presenting exclusive testimonies from social psychology experts. To predict the long-term impact on BTS's reputation as well as the group's internal dynamics. Without content or summary points, this article will stretch like a documentary story, flowing with a tone of news full of emotion, surprise, and social criticism, inviting readers to feel every pulse of the situation that heats up from the beginning until it finally subsides, or even develops into a more severe conflict. A few days before the haters' outburst, the atmosphere actually looked normal. Park Jimin is busy with the promotion schedule of his latest solo album, which topped various charts. His short break from the World Concert Series, a week ago, was actually used to get back together with his family in Busan. The mother, who has always been known as a loving and humble figure, can finally feel the joy of waiting for her beloved child at home. However, behind the warm smile, there are concerns that are slowly overshadowing, especially following the proliferation of negative rumors about Jimin's misleading personal life, from romance gossip to false claims about the group's internal conflicts. Although Jimin has never responded to the issue so far, HYB's management team chose to intensify social media patrols, keeping an eye on any posts related to BTS members so as not to cause prolonged unrest. On the other hand, the haters, always lurking for loopholes to provoke controversy, seem increasingly aggressive. They form a hidden online group with a standard working scheme like professional trolls, digging up personal information about idols and their families through unofficial sources, then assembling a slanderous narrative that sounds convincing enough for ordinary people. On the night of June 4, 2025, one unidentified account posted a series of accusatory sentences. Let's just say, Jimin's family secretly profited heavily from sneaky sponsors even before Jimin debuted, thanks to their dark connections. Some of the comments accused the mother of selling the copyrights to Jimin's songs for personal gain, or that Jimin's father was a shadowy political activist who often protested against the government. None of the allegations were true. More worryingly, however, the defamatory statements were quickly re-shared by hundreds of accounts, those who wanted to contribute to the spread of hate. Regardless of the psychological impact on the families of the victims, if heated by a gossip engine that never gets tired, the news drove like a train without brakes. The haters' secret chat group echoed with evil laughter and crude taunts, as if they were watching a comedy film with the Jimin family's main puppeteer being made the subject of ridicule. Not only focusing on mother and father figures, the slander also targeted Jimin's two younger siblings, who were once touted as problem children and described as the cursed generation in the midst of a broken family. In fact, every time Jimin shares family photos on his mother's birthday, the highlight of their togetherness and happiness is clearly depicted. This is what makes ARMY even more angry. Proof of the happiness and hard work of Jimin's family behind the idol's music is suddenly reviled, degraded, and distorted its meaning for the cheap pleasure of the haters. Initially, some of the soldiers who read the allegations tried to deflect by refuting through social media, sharing screenshots of Jimin's family's moments of happiness, refuting the rumors with the fact that Jimin's parents are not public artists and do not receive massive royalties, just those who live modestly in Busan. However, the more vehemently they objected, the more haters responded with increasingly cruel insults. "You ARMY are blind. Jimin, you are spoiled children who should be ashamed to have a family like this," wrote an account that seemed to have no empathy. When the ARMY's defenses began to falter, the situation turned into a fierce battle. The hashtag stop hate on Jimin family then followed hashtag ARMY GROWLS, each trying to write a protest, but also generating an internal debate. How far can the army go to strike back at the haters? Will the harsh response make the situation worse? In the midst of flashbacks of accusations and refutations, an important thing begins to emerge. Jungkook's name, as the head of the defense squad, is not just attached to the label of a new generation idol, but also a figure with greater responsibility. A few months ago, Jungkook posted a quote from a social psychology book that emphasized, "An attack on the family means attacking the roots of one's life." The quote was a warm conversation between the army, and the haters also felt Jungkook was too impartial, but this time, the quote became a call for the haters to step back beyond the limits of humanity. Not a few later said, "When Jungkook opened his voice, we knew the tolerance limit had reached its nadir." The next day, the contrast between the fog of slander and the light of solidarity became more visible. On the side of haters, there is a pretext that the accusations are made solely for the sake of opening the mask of truth behind BTS's perfect image. They pointed out, all idols pretend to be good for the sake of reputation. If we don't expose their lies, we will continue to be puppets. It's just that the creators of this hoax fail to realize that spreading hate speech against families is an act of violating social norms, even in a world without borders like the internet. Simultaneously, many are highlighting the legal point of view of cyberbullying. According to the digital media legal expert we interviewed exclusively, in some countries, including South Korea, the act of indulging hatred into the realm of celebrity families can be penalized. While enforcement practices are still diverse, global trends suggest there are concrete efforts to punish cyber harassers targeting families. However, before the legal realm goes too far, the army and a number of influencers have taken matters into their own hands. Some of them made explanatory videos with straightforward narratives about the emotional and social consequences of digital bullying. They featured psychologists and family counselors who explained how psychological stress can impact the happiness and mental health of Jimin's family. One of them, a psychologist from Seoul University, said, "When an individual we crave is suddenly accused by the whole family of committing a crime, feelings of shame and trauma can be transmitted to the whole family. They feel out of control and threatened, even though this is just a slanderous scenario in cyberspace." Meanwhile, HYB Entertainment took a decisive step. The day after the uproar broke out, HYB sent an official statement through the company's media channels. "We deeply regret the false news directed at Park Jimin's family. The allegations are completely unfounded and without valid evidence. We call on all parties to stop the spread of slander and respect the privacy of the idol family. If a violation of the law is found, we will not hesitate to take legal action." For some haters, this statement is considered simply lip service, the corporation's way of appeasing the masses. But for the army, this is the starting point for the management's alignment with Jimin, who has always rejected all forms of sensationalism. But behind the statement, many ask, what exactly is the hidden purpose of the haters? Is this purely a meaningless troll attempt, or is there a big agenda behind it? Some social media analysts attribute the case to the maneuvers of competitors in the K-pop entertainment industry who often use black marketing strategies to undermine the popularity of large groups. Industry history has it that record labels leak negative rumors about their rivals, though never proven, simply to break up fan concentrations and lower sales. It has also been suggested that such attacks are used to divert public opinion away from larger issues, such as backstage scandals, contract disputes, or failed comeback albums. Not a few argue that haters are just pawns in a much more complicated black score game. Despite these ulterior motives, one thing is certain. The public is now split into two main camps. First, the army camp and digital rights advocates, who strongly condemn the degrading act of idol families. They judge that every individual has the right to privacy, and attacking the family is tantamount to attacking humanity. Secondly, the haters, who call themselves truth hunters, claim that they are only exposing facts, even if they are not necessarily true. Then came the cynical phrase among the ranks of haters, "We better destroy their reputation before they destroy ours." The hate formula often appears every time they feel they lose prestige in cyberspace. Amid the uproar, social media platforms such as Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are working to enforce digital